Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the theme park arcade. It is time for our very first ride review. And we're kicking it off with arguably the best ride in all of Disney World, Flight of Passage. I'm RJ, joining up with Mike.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Glad to join up here and speak about Flight of Passage, one of my new favorite rides, definitely, by far.
Yeah, and I will tell you guys, we plan to do this at the park, maybe vlog style, or kind of in person live while we do the ride. That's the plan. Flight of Passage is different, Mike, because it's one of those simulation rides. There's nothing we can really record while we're on the ride, so this is a perfect one to pretty much just kind of tell you guys about the experience and tell you guys our first impressions.
Absolutely. A lot of the experience comes from what you're seeing right now before you ride the ride, which is the whole lab that they have set up here. Which is pretty amazing to just look at as you're walking through the line waiting for the ride. I really was mesmerized by all the things they had here, and it's really cool to see in person, let alone on video.
Yeah,
So,
we'll go through it in order, of course, culminating with the ride itself. Thanks again for joining up, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Let's get into ride review number 1, Flight of Passage. So heads up, guys, right now the Flight of Passage line is extremely long. Chances are you're going to be waiting out here pretty much in the Pandora overworld. What was your reaction to how good everything looked, considering this is a pretty large scale new expansion?
Well, I mean, everything looked great, obviously because it's new, number one. And number two, you can just tell the amount of work they put into the amount of detail there is. Everything just looks amazing. It's great. I mean, it's a completely immersive experience, and that's what they wanted to do.
I love it. I've been there, man, like 5 or 6 times now. Mike, you've been there a couple times. And for me, it's just one of these places I'm starting to love more and more every time I go, especially as an annual pass holder. It's just a really cool place to go and relax. Waiting in this long line, as long as you're prepared, it's not that bad just because of how beautiful everything is. I wish there was more interaction. But that said, if you compare it to past queues, man, remember like Earthquake and some of the queues from Universal Studios, which look so immersive. This is really, even putting those to shame. That's how cool
Absolutely.
it is as far as the detail.
Oh yeah, definitely puts them to shame. I mean, just look at how this looks. I mean, you have other rides that are completely immersive, like Star Tours and stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, there is a lot going on in that one too. But this I feel like it's a different world. Like you're being put into a different world, and they really did a good job at giving you that feeling that you're not on like Earth anymore. You're on Pandora.
I've heard a lot of people mention Jurassic Park. That was one of the thoughts that I got.
Yeah.
Standing in the line, I hear some people mention it. And I'm glad you brought up Star Tours, because that is a pretty immersive line, and it has those.
Absolutely.
It has the animatronics, and that's
Right.
something that this doesn't have except for the one at the end, which is the grand finale. That thing is amazing. Just the other day, I was looking at it, and I was like, at first you're like, it's not really moving, and then it'll just start moving all of a sudden. It's like, whoa. It really does look realistic.
Yeah.
Finishing off on the outside part, though, Mike, what'd you think about the trail leading up to the cave?
I mean, it was long, but it was cool to see everything that they have, put up through the trail right here, and also to look at the island, the floating island, and everything like that. That's really cool.
There's a lot of different things you can see that you might miss the first few times you go to Pandora. So let's move on inside the cave. This cave has a bunch of paintings in here. You can see the design in the back that has that avatar blue to it. It's pretty cool, and it all leads to the Bioluminescent Forest. So even though you might not be in Pandora at the nighttime, you'll kind of have that daytime to nighttime fade where you're going from outside into the cave a little bit darker, and then finally you're into the dark forest area.
Yes, that's right. I really liked the paintings. I thought they were cool. It gave you the feeling of like you're in a cave, an ancient cave.
Authentic.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
it's
the
really
real
cool.
sizes of the avatars.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that thing. But like Mike mentioned, you are going to be standing in line for a while, probably like 2 hours. I don't see it going down anytime soon, just because the ride, spoiler warning, is so darn good. So here it is, the reveal of the Bioluminescent Forest. What do you think about this area?
It looked really cool in person, definitely. I mean, it definitely is different, and everything's all lit up, so it looks really awesome.
There's some bird sound effects and stuff in here, so I kind of wish there was live animals.
Yeah,
We are an animal kingdom, so it's a slight complaint that Pandora doesn't have any live animals except for the occasional squirrel and maybe some birds flying around. Maybe they could have put something in here, especially something like from Earth, of course, but maybe something creepy looking that people don't see. Perhaps an anglerfish or something underwater. Anyways, this is what it is. This is one of my favorite parts right here. Looks pretty neat. Talking about, what is that, toxicity?
Warning sign there. It's pretty interesting. And there's like everything all lit up crazy.
So this moves on to the lab. You're talking about how you do like the lab quite a bit.
Yes, the
It's a
lab
good transition.
is awesome. Definitely, the lab is one of the coolest spots before you ride the ride.
Get to see finally
Yeah.
the one animatronic, one of only two animatronics in all of Pandora. The second one being the shaman on Navi River Journey.
Ah, okay.
A lot of people have been waiting 2, maybe 3 hours to actually test this thing out. Let's talk about the experience. So this is the first room that they put you in. You can see kind of like an animated form of yourself. So when you move, it moves. They're pretty much trying to sense you and match you up with the avatar.
Yes.
I mean, this is a pretty cool room. I like how it closes you in and it has different lights that turn on. And I think they could have done a little bit more with it, you know, with all these lights, and it blows air on you. Once again, it reminds me of something maybe you should be in Jurassic Park with a velociraptor outside attacking. But
I thought it
does
was
get
really
you in the
cool.
mood.
I thought it was really cool. They linked you up with an avatar, and I don't know. I feel like this is the first spot where you really get like sucked into the ride. You're like, what's going on here? You know, like you sort of. All right, for me, I've never watched the movie Avatar at all. I know, as weird as it sounds, I still have not seen the movie Avatar.
Me neither.
But I went into this ride, you know, being hopeful that it'd be good. Obviously, it is. And I've never seen the movie, but now I'm pumped to because of this ride. And they did such a great job with it. So I'm definitely going to watch Avatar. But either way, get back on track here. This part right here, it brings you into the ride, and right after this, you're sucked in, and you're just paying attention to everything that's going on, and it becomes fully immersive, and you feel like you're in a different world. And I don't want to give away too much. That's all I'm gonna leave it at right there.
That's a good idea because it is a good first time experience for those who haven't done the ride yet. This is one of those spots where you don't really want to know too much. You can see videos probably on YouTube that shows the whole thing, and it's nothing too amazing, but it's really just the immersion, being in this cube with the lights and wind blowing at you, and you can see a likeness of yourself, and they're saying they're going to turn you into an avatar. I don't take too much out of that.
They don't turn you into an avatar. They link you with one,
of course,
and then you ride the Banshee that they have apparently, because the avatars have the ability to ride on Banshees, where humans don't have that ability.
Eaten.
Yes, that's correct.
Avatars are much bigger. So you move into a second room once you're done with this one. That's when they give you the 3D glasses. You don't have to put them on. In fact, don't put them on for the next video,
Now,
of course.
Here's a hint about the glasses. They're top heavy. So you have to be careful when you're wearing them. They can fall off your head. So you have to just be sure they're on snug. It's not a spoiler or anything. I'm just telling you because they almost fell off my face.
Oh, I was next to somebody where they flew right off of their head. And I gotta say, going on Star Tours the other day, I don't understand why the Star Tours ones are snug, but those ones fly off.
Yeah.
And it's one thing like you and I, you know, we're grown
my
ups
only
here. Imagine
complaint
the
of the
kids that are younger trying to wear. You'd think it would fall off their head even easier than us.
Yeah. For kids, it might even be tougher, definitely, because they're moving around a bunch and everything, and
Exactly.
that's really my only complaint of the ride at all.
Well, so the second video you watch is just Sigourney Weaver, apparently the creator of this experience of linking to the avatars. So this is where the experience begins. After that video, it's very short. Then you're walking into the chamber. So you basically see a wall because all of these bike-looking things are staring at a wall, and that's one of the things that kind of caught me off guard. It's like you don't know what you're gonna look at, right?
Yeah.
Because you're thinking about riding Dragon. You walk in, and it's like, okay, you get on, and you're staring at this weird wall.
What's going on here? And then you get into it, man, and it's crazy. And that's all I'm gonna leave it at. I'm not gonna give any spoilers here, man. I don't feel good about giving off the spoiler on this one. It's too good.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much it as far as the experience leading up to it. Yeah, you sit down on the bike, and like we said, there's a wall,
Yeah.
and there's not too much. Obviously, there's some cool effects. To give it a review, Mike, as far as the effects leading up to
Yes.
the actual ride itself, you
Yes.
have to say that's some of the most impressive effects we've ever seen on a ride.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's leading up to the actual riding experience, there's a few things that bring you into it even more after this room right here that we're looking at. And it makes you feel as if you are the avatar and you are on the Banshee, and that's all I'm going to leave it at. It makes you feel as if you are them actually. And they did a really good job at making you feel as if you are a different person.
Were
in
you
a
comfortable
different
on the
world.
bike itself? Because I would
I
say that
was.
the bike it surprised me on, how comfortable it actually is.
Yes, to be comfortable in it, you have to lean fully against. They have this thing that you lean your chest on, and you have to lean against that completely, and then something comes against your back, and then that locks you in. And if you're positioned correctly, it's a really good experience for the ride.
I've heard a lot of people say that if you're going to get motion sickness on any ride, then you're probably going to get it on this one. I'll tell you, as someone who gets motion sickness pretty bad myself, it could be pretty bad, but this ride is so good that, I don't know, maybe it's so good that it's actually something that people can get over their motion sickness to, because it really does feel realistic, and I think that makes it a lot better than a ride that doesn't really feel as real. It's hard to really feel like you're there like you do in Flight of the Passage.
Yeah, I mean, it does really feel like you're in the world and, flying around and everything. So I could definitely see if you get motion sickness, someone getting sick. But I could see, also vice versa, people not getting sick as well because you're not really moving around too much. So, I don't get sick myself, so I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah,
It
you
was
could
a
put
really
you
fun
could be
ride.
put on a space shuttle. It's an extreme experience. There's definitely multiple effects going on at once. It takes up all the senses,
Yeah.
and that is why
Yeah.
I like the ride so much. It's kind of showing you what Disney can move towards, having more immersive rides, not only in the queues but also the experience. Because it's not just about sitting down and looking, but it's also about the wind and all these different things that they can throw at you to really make you feel like you're there.
Yeah, that's right. They definitely do a good job at that. And, like I said, it's a fully immersive experience, and they did a great job of doing that.
Good length on the ride. That said, I think we pretty much said all you can say without giving out any spoilers. This ride's too good to do that.
I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it?
All right, 1 to 10. I'm going to go with a full 9 on this one.
Absolutely.
I know people would be upset and say, hey, if this isn't a 10, then what is? But I think that this is the start of maybe new technology that they can break out.
Yes.
We'll see what they do in Star Wars Land, Galaxy's Edge. But
I'm gonna
considering
say-
there's the 3D glasses issue, that's where I'm docking it a little bit.
Absolutely. I'm going to agree with you 100% there. I'm gonna give it a little leeway, though. I'm going to say it's a possibility of moving up to a 10 if they correct the glasses, and on top of it, they can switch the movie or the experience.
Oh, boy.
If they can change that like they do with Star Tours
And Soarin', which they've changed
yes,
to just a whole
that,
new thing.
That would make this ride a 10.
And they have the technology
Absolutely.
to easily
and,
do that.
And I'm not saying what they have now is bad or anything. It's awesome. But in the future, when people have ridden this ride, and they want to ride it again, they're gonna, see the same thing always. They want to see something different. If they're able to change that and do it regularly, that would make it a 10 for me.
That's a good call, for sure. But I definitely give it close to a 10. Unfortunately, Like you mentioned, the 3D glasses. I don't understand why other rides the 3D glasses stay on. They're a little bit smaller. These ones have a much more bulkier feel and presentation,
Yeah.
so that's why they're gonna be a little bit loose, and that's tough in a ride where you're going in all these different directions.
Yeah.
You don't want to be adjusting that. They even tell you to hold on to the Banshee the whole ride. Do not let go. Well, I have to let go to fix my glasses.
Yeah, so
That's an issue. Other than that, pretty flawless ride. I love it to death. Last thing I'll say, if you guys have ridden Soarin', you know that the experience is better depending on where you sit. I really feel like the closer you are to the center, it's better. And that is even more in effect here for Flight of Passage, Mike, because for me, and I've rode this about 5 times now, you've only done it once.
Yes.
The 3D, it can be extremely crisp, but I've noticed when you're towards the outside, that's when it's a little bit not as crisp. In fact, it gets blurrier around the edges.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I obviously haven't noticed that because I only rode it once, but I'm gonna take your word for it. And
We had a good
next
spot
time
when
I'm
we
gonna,
rode it.
Yeah, next time I'm gonna try to go towards the center.
Yeah, I mean, there's different routes you can go. Some of the directions lead you upstairs. You actually have to walk upstairs. So let us know. Give us your feedback. Where have you guys had the best experience? Because, if you're on the outside, it's almost kind of comparable to Dinosaur as well. Dinosaur, depending on where you're sitting on the ride itself, it's a different experience, the way everything moves. So let us know what you guys think and where the best place is to actually experience Flight of Passage. Last question, Mike. Do you think the Flight of Passage, to put you on the spot, some people say it is now the best ride in Walt Disney World. Are you going to crown it?
Yeah, it is. It is currently the best ride at Walt Disney World. Flight of Passage.
Yeah, I agree with you just from an experience and a technology standpoint. It really does a great job, and we just got to give credit to Disney for putting all this effort into the ride to make it as immersive as possible. They did it, and it has me so excited for the future rides because we have the new Mickey and Minnie Mouse ride. That's a brand new experience, trackless ride, 3D, so it shows you maybe they'll try some new things in that. And then, of course, like we mentioned, Star Wars Land. There's going to be probably very similar technology going into the Millennium Falcon ride.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be an amazing ride. I already know that. And, I mean, we've got some other ones around the corner here, so I can't wait.
So it sounds like you're giving it a 9. We're giving it a collective 9.
Absolutely. Collective 9 here. And this one, like I said, it has the ability to move up to a 10.
I'm with you.
I think.
I'm with you.
So, great job, Disney.
Thanks
That's all I
again
can say.
for joining us, guys. And thanks for Mike making your debut here on the channel. We have some pretty big things up ahead.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, and I can't wait to be here next time.
Thanks again for checking out the video, guys. Help out by liking and subscribing. We'll talk to you soon. Catch you in the next one.